Alrighty, I'm back for another test of my mono blue mid-range list. Again, just trying to show the capabilities of the deck in a couple of turns. Maybe play to like turn 6 or 7, or a combo comes up, whichever first. So, opening hand, zero land, so clearly I'm going to mulligan this one. It occurred to me on YouTube, and the only videos of this deck all have Soul Ring and or Mana Crypt, so really like to get a test that doesn't have either of those to show a more, I guess, usual game. So second hand, so this is never going to miss land drops, but really like to ramp on turn two into a turn 3 Malcolm. So on the play, not even on the play. This deck is supposed to be aggressive, so I would actually shut this back and go to 6 and take a risk. All right, so this is already better. So we got ramp. It's going to be a turn 2 Malcolm with card draw back up right here. And since we already mulliganed and our hand's so aggressive, I'll actually bottom the force of will here. Actually, let's see. So we got turn one, prismatic lens or bauble. We'll go with the lens because lens lets us play the bauble. And then turn 2, that effectively gives us 4 mana. We can crack the bauble or we can cast Malcolm. So let's see, casting Malcolm is okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But that leaves us, we need to make a land trap or draw land to hit mana turn 3. So where it just gives us 5 mana no matter what we draw. So this is a tough decision because obviously Force of Will would be great protection with the Con Sphinx, and if that sticks, we're off to the reasons. Off to the races. So actually, we'll just go ahead and bottom the. Well, see, I don't want to bottom the Time Spiral because Time Spiral with Con Sphinx out is basically that's more or less going to win the game. So I believe, based on the land count of this deck, the average number of lands in opening hand is a 2.5. So we're likely to draw land. Man, this is really tough. This is a tough one. I usually bottom interaction when I'm already on a mulligan, but we're so likely to draw more land. Really don't want to bottom either of the ramps either, though. But I'll take a risk here. But we'll go ahead and bottom the bauble. I think we'll draw land into enough mana to for the Con Sphinx and then have protection. So we'll bottom the bauble and get it moving. All right, so we'll draw. So clearly, Teferi not the best draw here, but we're going to go for Ancient Tomb into the Prismatic Lens. We don't want to crack the fetch. Well, we definitely want to play this turn 1, and we don't want to crack the fetch to undo our mulligan. Although drawing bauble wouldn't be the worst, so that would be okay. But straight into the lens. Not much here. Turn 2. All right, Soul Ring. So I'm gonna just deliberately bottom this and draw a fair rock like Mind Stone because again, as I said at the start of this video, every single test has had Soul Ring, so I really don't want that to keep happening. So I'll go ahead and bottom that. Crack this. Get an island, shuffle, play a island. So Mind Stone is great because we can go for here, take 2, cast this Mind Stone, and go right into Malcolm. And clearly, hopefully, this test is showcasing how aggressive, which the other videos probably do too, but this one's showcasing how aggressive the deck is meant to be in a natural function. So we got 1, 2, 3. We got 5 mana on board. 6 if Malcolm makes contact next turn. So we'll see what happens. Our land is an excellent draw, so we're going to go ahead and play this land. Combat will swing. So usually a consideration point with this deck is pre-combat, casting Sakashima to get double Malcolm and get 2 triggers. That's not necessary here because we have a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a clear payoff with Con Sphinx into a Time Spiral, so we're not going to do that here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we cast Teferi and then untap 4 land or 4 permanents, so we would have a treasure left over. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we have enough mana. We can Teferi into the Con Sphinx, which if something was going to get countered, we could use Teferi as bait, but although we still have the Force of Will, they both will be really strong here. So we'll go to combat, create the treasure. And we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as I said. It's also a good showcase of how blue can be aggressive. So although it's more so aggressive in my version of this deck, it's a more card advantage aggressive version. But blue does not have to sit back and play control. You can force the issue with card advantage and spells. So, okay, so we'll tap 4 permanents with the fairy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Crack here. So we'll take 2 more here, and we'll go for the Con Sphinx. So that's a turn 3 consecrated Sphinx with force backup. So we'll assume that opponents don't have anything here. They could, but in which case we have the force to pitch for backup. So we'll draw 2, and it's a great draw. Archaeomancer is the only form of infinite turn recursion in this deck, so it would be annoying to pitch that to the force, but we have other combos, like with Nykthos, Tatsuba Tyrant, Hullbreaker Horror, so it wouldn't be the end of the world to pitch this. So let's go ahead and draw 2 more. Again, if we had to use the force, we'd pitch Archaeomancer here, and we'll draw 2 more. And then we'll go to turn. So ideally, with no interaction, the deck's going to win here. So let's see what happens. So it's actually a decision point here. So if nobody interacted with the Con Sphinx, they probably don't have spell removal, which leaves, or that leaves room for an argument to not cast the Time Spiral because clearly they don't have anything. But on the flip side, Time Spiral into Con Sphinx, that's going to draw, let's see, it's 42. Yeah, 42 plus 7. That's 40. That's seeing 49 cards. It's extremely unlikely to lose the game from that point. So I could go either way. And with the composition of this draw and given our board and solve the equation, we can go for one more turn of value where we know. Let's see. So a counterspell is kind of something to play around, but not really since we have Force of Will here. So we'll just go for the let's just go for the high upside play. And again, it'd be, especially if opponents tapped out here, which they probably did, or maybe like I said, aggressive control deck with a fair bit of mana, but I would definitely force the issue here because it takes 2 counter spells to beat this play. So we'll go ahead and play our land because we want let's see, actually, Nykthos would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nykthos would generate value, so we're going to hold off on the land drop because we're extremely likely to draw more from the Time Spiral. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I'm sorry. We'll go to combat first because usually we don't know how Malcolm's mana is going to be involved. So we'll go to combat first, swing, get this treasure. And then main phase 2, Hardy took the 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go for the Time Spiral. And again, this is a must counter because when Time Spiral resolves, each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into the library, draw 7. We untap up to 6 lands. Only have 3 here. But the point is, Consecrated Sphinx will see all those draws. So we'll draw our 7, and then we'll draw 42 cards on top of that. Let's go ahead and do that. Worth noting, we could have played Minimo before playing this Time Spiral, but again, the upside of drawing Nykthos here is so high that I held off on doing that. So we'll shuffle all this in, using the shortcut to put everything on the bottom. We'll shuffle, draw 7. So one thing to note here, the one risk with this play, if people have untapped white mana specifically, is that before you draw the 47 cards, or we could get hit with a silence. So I may not have risked it if someone had white up, but that's playing around 1 card out of a lot. And again, if it doesn't get interacted with, you still probably win. Either way is probably fine. Just for the sake of the test, I'll just go with the Time Spiral route. So let's assume nobody interacts here, and we'll draw, as I said, 42 cards. And of note, the cards, it is 42 total, but they're drawn in intervals of 2, and this can be relevant if you're looking specifically for an extra turn and you don't draw it in the first 40, but you do draw Mystical Tutor. Leave 2 draws left so that you can cast the Mystical Tutor and draw until a turn if you really need it. So we'll just go ahead and draw 40 and go up to 47, and then I'll take a look at what we got. Although based on what I've seen already, we'll go to 47. Oh, sorry, 48. Boppa won't matter here, but I think we have enough to win. So we drew a turn. Let's turn somewhere. Yeah, temporal manipulation. No, I don't think I see a Mystical Tutor. So the interaction did not come up this time, but it's good to keep in mind. So we'll go ahead and draw the last 2 here. We'll tap. Oh, already untapped our 3 lands. Okay, so I don't think we drew the Nykthos. Let's see. Just trying to look. This is the fun of blue, having a ton of cards at hand. So Nykthos, no Nykthos here, but let's see. Do we have a Thought Vessel? Don't think we have a Thought Vessel either, but that's okay. We we don't need either. We'll just go with Reliquary Tower for land for turn. We're not limited on blue mana. So where to go? Okay, we'll go Reliquary Tower as land for turn. So if it wasn't obvious, we're going to try to win here. So let's go for Mana Crypt. And keep in mind, we haven't used Teferi yet. So we have a ton of mana. Ooh, that's a mistake. That's a mistake right here. We drew Talaria West, which directly tutors for Nykthos. So that is the play here. So we can still play the Mana Crypt, but we want to do blue, voting generic. We transmute this Talaria West. Kind of greedy here because I guess if someone drew interaction, which if they drew interaction, they should have used it before we drew the 47 cards, but this does leave a window for Teferi to get interacted with before we can use them. So we'll get Nykthos, play it as land for turn. Okay, we'll go ahead and tap it for blue, take 2 more. All right, I'll use energy up here to count blue mana, so that's 5. And we will, I'm getting a call, take that later. So we got 5 blue. We'll go ahead and resolve our, yeah, we only got 5. We haven't used Teferi yet, so let's go ahead and untap, use him to untap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Often untap the Planeswalker just so I remember that they've been used. We'll go to, let's see. We'll use this life counter for generic. Let's use, okay, so floating 2, we'll use 1 of it. Go ahead and cast a Soul Ring here. And let's see, actually, can we win right now? Yeah, we can win right now, actually. We don't need to go for a turn loop. Yeah, it makes no real difference. So let's do, yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8. Use all floating mana. We don't even need to go into a turn loop. We'll cast Tidespell Tyrant right here. No mana floating. When he resolves, we'll tap Nykthos for blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go to 8 blue. We will cast this Everflowing Chalice for 0 on cast trigger from Tidespell Tyrant. We'll bounce the Mana Crypt. We'll cast the Mana Crypt for 0 on cast. We'll bounce the Chalice, and we'll tap for 2 colorless right here. Cast Chalice for 0 again. Bounce the Mana Crypt. So that creates a loop of infinite colorless mana. So we have infinite colorless mana on board. Let's see. Do we have a rock to filter into blue? Felwar Stone filters into blue if opponents have islands or any land that tests for blue. We don't even really need to filter in the blue here because we have, let's see. So we have infinite colorless. I'm sorry. We have Prismatic Lens right here. So Prismatic Lens has the second ability. 1, tap it, add 1 mana of any color. So once you make infinite mana, you can, once you recast you can keep going with the loop. Just bounce the Prismatic Lens, cast it with infinite colorless, bounce whatever, filter a colorless into blue, keep going with the loop. So now that gives us infinite blue. So we can do anything we want here. We can cast Sakashima, copy the Tidespell Tyrant, bounce every permanent we don't control. We can use, did I see Ulamog? I don't think I saw Ulamog. No. Well, we have Kozilek. We can cast Kozilek over and over to draw the rest of our deck if we so choose. Win conditions, I guess, not apparent, but we can cast every creature in our hand. We have infinite mana. All these Sphinxes would dig more. So I guess get to like actual win condition. So let's say I did this before I cast the Kozilek. We take the Archimancer here, lands don't matter. And say we cast Kozilek, we'll draw 4. All right, there's Ulamog. So if we haven't bounced every permanent we don't control, we'll just exile them all. You do have to exile your own. Ulamog has to exile something. So if we get to this infinite portion, just exile something that doesn't matter, or just like wait to cast them until you can put something on board that doesn't matter. Heck, at this point, even Malcolm and Sakashima wouldn't matter. So yeah, just exile them. Okay, and I won't play this out. Like winning from this point is extremely trivial. As I said, we can draw every card in the deck, although we don't need to. We can exile every permanent we don't control. Let's see, time spell's gone. So we've got an extra turn right here. Put out massive amounts of power, and opponents can't really come back. So summary of this test. So no Soul Ring or Mana Crypt opening hand, but we opened with an Ancient Tomb and a Ramp piece, and we saw just how aggressive this deck can be. So like turn 3, put out a Must Answer threat, and holding a turn 4, basically a combo piece, and drew into a win right afterwards. All right, so thank you for tuning in. It's been the mono blue version of my deck, and stay tuned, and I'll keep y'all posted on any further updates. Thank you.